And we're recording. Well, great. So, hello, welcome to our first inaugural podcast. We have no idea what we're going to call it yet. But Gary and myself have had the idea to do something like this for a while. A lot of you have asked us to do a bit more, asked me to do a bit more with the podcast. So we thought, why not? We're going to do some form of magazine-esque show where we can just discuss and digest what's going on in the amateur bodybuilding world and maybe some of the pro leagues as well, and just talk the same sort of bodybuilding nonsense Gary and I have on a weekly basis anyway, just discussing the sport we all love and just see what's going on about maybe behind the scenes and things that are coming up, and hopefully something that's topical and interesting to watch. And if it's not interesting or it's interesting to watch and you're still watching it, well, that's down to you, right? I don't leave any comments. So the people who've got on, obviously, I'm Phil from Muscletown, Phil Caine. Some of you will know me from some of the stuff we've done before. And if you haven't, this is the first time you're watching, thank you. I've got the renowned, I've got a professional, let's put it that way, right? So in order to legitimise this in some way, I brought a professional in to not talk as much nonsense. Gary Chappell.
Hello.
There we go. That's it. So Gary is a formidable bodybuilder with IFBB pro status now. Is that right, guys?
Yeah, probably just clarify it slightly because there was a lot of kickback when that was announced. It's the IFBB Pro Federation, which is the original federation launched by the Wider brothers. The other one, brought after that by many, is the IFBB Pro League, which offers a route to the Olympia. So just a clarification for those who get their knickers in a twist every time someone mentions the word IFBB.
One of the Olympia. That's the easiest way to describe it, isn't it?
Which one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says the knickers in the twist. The easiest way to say it's the one that's not going to the Olympia. It's IFBB original official.
Yeah.
It is one of those things that is about as clear as mud for the layperson. And even, I know Gary and I have had these discussions before about what's what within that IFBB federation now, because there's two different routes to it. I mean, that's something we'll come back round to that in a minute, I think. But yeah, it's an interesting talking point because not many people fully understand what routes to where the lineage is, and how it all works and how it all ties together. But you obviously,
if they go a certain route and they get an accolade, are they really that bothered unless they actually know the route they want to take? If somebody's
it's a very good point.
Vision to go towards the Olympia, like Samson Dowd or whoever, that's one thing because they've got the route and nobody's going to steer them anywhere. But for everyone who's just amateur, going to shows that they win one and they get offered to go to be pro, wherever it happens to be, there's plenty of them. As long as they're happy with what they're doing, I think that's just too big a deal made of it, personally.
I completely agree. So whilst I'm doing the introductions, for probably a lady who needs absolutely no introduction, the amazing Helen O'Reilly, or AKA Helen Panther, AKA El Presidente of the BPA, an all-round superstar, who's very kindly joined us.
I've always liked Bill.
So I'm doing my best, just trying to buy a bit of goodwill as always. So again, I think this IFBB topic's one that needs further discussion, but I think we should probably come back to that at a different point. I think what I want to kick on with is what's been going on, what's going on in the world of bodybuilding, and I'm going to come back to you, Helen, on the grounds that you announced some more big news yesterday, did you not? You sly old dog, you.
Big news about bodybuilding.
Well, big news for you.
It's personal. That's been ongoing for quite some time, but yeah. This gym will become an old next gym. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
just a casual change from the iconic Panthers to being part of the now iconic chain, which is Ultraflex. I mean, how did that come about?
Signed an NDA, but I've known Mike and Charlie for so many years. I went to actually judged Mike in Ohio at the Arnold, Ohio, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago, whatever it would be. So we go back a long way. And I remember they invited their first gym, which was going to be Charles's gym, just for him to train in because he was sick of the hours that was being opened and he wanted better kit. Wasn't getting what he wanted. So him being quite a wealthy man, he decided to put the kit in himself and have the gym to himself. And of course, people wanted to get into him themselves. So he opened the first up and then it snowballed. So, yes, I've been talking to him over the years, like anything with it in business, timing's just got to be right. So it wasn't right 8 years ago, it wasn't 6 years ago, it wasn't right 4 years ago. But in the last year, it's taken on a different turn. So, yeah, the deal was done and exciting time.
Yeah, next to chat.
I'm really awful, but like I say in January, I'm 55 next year. And sometimes you have to think, right, when are you going to take a little bit of a back seat? But because I'm a workaholic, I never will. So I've always got something on anyway. It means that I can enjoy the gym and not have to be sort of full on with it.
I think unless you've actually owned a gym and run one, nobody fully appreciates how much energy and time is spent just to make it what it is, to make it, especially when the special places, when if you're an owner operator of a gym, as you've been for many years, Helen, I've had 3, right? Those gyms are built around the personalities behind those counters, you know, but it's a lot of hours, a lot of sacrifice.
My gym,
we love what we do, don't we? So,
yeah. No, I started my gym before I was a gladiator because I started doing the bodybuilding and I was made redundant from my job. And it was a feeling of, gosh, somebody has that much control over my life that I'm going to lose my job. What can I do next? And I thought, what am I going to do? I'm going to own my own job. So that's why I decided, what do I know? I know about bodybuilding, I'll open a gym. And I was really lucky because I had the bodybuilding scene at the time. And I used to train at John Citrone's gym in fence houses in his house. And he had at the gym equipment. So obviously I got a nice deal from him. So I set the gym up with Pinata gym equipment and obviously used expertise of people that I knew. And it was a small place, but you learn the trade, don't you? But as you say, you open it early in the morning and you're closing it late at night. But if it's something you thoroughly enjoy, you don't feel working. You're mixing with people today that have the same sort of outlook, passion as you. So it is long hours. And I did that, as I said, I think yesterday or whenever I did the video for the months ago. I had to do 84 years. So I've seen the changes go from bodybuilding to the fitness revolution and then back into the bodybuilding side of things again because it's so much more for everybody now. And it's friendlier than people thought it was. People were so intimidated about going into a bodybuilding gym. But bodybuilders are probably the friendliest. Going to the gym.
I always remember going into Paul House's gym in York, or I didn't, but before going into that place called Olympia Gym, and it was like, this is late 90s, or mid-late 90s, and I think I was about 18 at the time, all I wanted to be was a bodybuilder, that was it, right? And this was where there was a who's who of bodybuilding in York, and it was, I stood outside, terrified to walk through the door. I thought, I'm going to walk in here and I'm going to get just destroyed, right? And it's, I must have been there 20 minutes. My mate rang me who trained there. I was like, what are you doing? I'm outside. Get inside. Ended up working in the gym. I actually ended up working in there. And everybody was great. And, you know, there's that was where that bodybuilding journey really started for me because they all took us under the wing. And as those gyms always did, you find everybody to be the nicest they can be. And you don't look back. But on my gym, I used to have on the door, on the outside door, it says the hardest part is walking through the door, just because it can be intimidating, which is why having that friendly face at the counter that engages straight away, that breaks down those barriers, is always so important. Yeah, and you find more support in a bodybuilding gym, regardless of your size and shape. More so if your fitness journey hasn't yet begun, right? And I would implore anybody to go to a bodybuilding gym, because those are the guys that respect where you are and what you're doing, rather than walking in there looking like you just won a British title, whatever it might be. The respect is there for somebody starting out, because that is the hardest point. And I think you'll always get that in a bodybuilding gym.
It's the unknown. I was talking unfortunately, I was at a funeral yesterday, and we were talking about it, and somebody said your gym, whatever gym, was rubbish. And I said, but for people that have never been to a different gym, walked into that gym, that's what a gym's like for them. They haven't been into a gym where the individual owns it, put their personality in, and made the staff are friendly and helpful and whatever. They are corporates. If you've never been into an independent gym, you just don't know what to expect. And it is really hard for people that are just starting out to think, oh, I'm going to the bodybuilding gym, because the gym that I've had for 30 odd years also has got a building reputation. People in there from 15 to 82-year-old, males, different background, all just focus they want to achieve in the gym, not bothered about what anybody else is doing. But the perspective is you go into a gym and everybody's looking at you. And it's not the case. But we know that, but newbies don't. So it's down to us to make them feel at home and feel comfortable.
Helen, because you've moved from Panther's gym to Flex, is there a danger that is there not a danger? Is there a worry that you might lose some of that personality that you've put in over the years?
I really don't think so, because if you look at because they're not silly people, Mike and Charles, the thousands of personalities like Bales, like on the 25th of January, you've got Laurie Carr opening his, having an open day at his gym, and you've got Kuba. So you've got all people that are very personable, that are very friendly. So they want to carry on that legacy. They haven't just gym and just got anybody in, which would happen if it was. There's always rumors around, and people saying, "Oh, you're going to be giving it to somebody like a Pure Gym or something," and that would have ruined it. But this is something that will work together to make sure that same friendliness is there throughout. It benefits everybody. It benefits the members, and the phones have been going crazy.
Have they?
Just the name of Flex, and people are like, what, to travel from all over the place. So, and they haven't had one down south. They have been trying for a while, so now so I think it's all good.
Do you think there's a way that could complement the federation that you run, the BPA, as well?
You know what? I've always tried to keep that business separate from the bodybuilding side of things. I don't think it helps to make it may do, but it's not because it's going to be planned or anything. When I got Panthers initially, I always said, didn't really want a name because it was like a albatross thing around my neck, because I wanted the gym to sell on its own self what we were offering them. So I do try and keep things separate.
It's true. I mean, you don't want too much crossover, but I was discussing this with Gary before we jumped on this, and I was like, I can't see anything but positive outcomes from that as a crossover with obviously running the BPA, because the guys.
It's not designed for that. That definitely wasn't even a thought, because I see them as two completely separate things. That's business, and this is a do for, believe it or not, pleasure. Yeah. It is. I don't think anybody realised how much hard work it was going to be. I was speaking to your mate Tim Rocher today, And I was saying, like, I had to start it from scratch, you know, and wanted something from, he's laughing because I made, from, and it just wasn't happening. And he said to me, you know, it was going to happen the same with Navan. If we didn't get the votes to make the changes, we were going to have to start from scratch. So if you've got a passion for something and you know what's normal, you want to offer to people, and you can't, because of somebody above you saying no more, you have to then follow your convictions and try your best to give what you want. And we are passionate at BPA about giving the athletes the due justice, if you like. Because we genuinely, all of us have done it before. We've done the diet, we've done the training, you know, we've been through hardships. And I was joking with Tim, said, you know, I'd won the Britain and I'd won the Europeans with Nava. And I was off to do the universe, and there was an England competition came up in Gateshead. And I said, I'm going to do it. And people say, you can't do that. You get beaten at the England and you're going on to the universe. And I said, look, I've paid £1,000 prize the England. So I have to try. I could win just me be on stomping ground, so to speak. So people do things because they enjoy it, but a bit of money there, or there's something that can enhance your life. Take every opportunity, and that's what we're trying to give opportunities.
I think. Oh, sorry, Gary.
No, I was just going to say about the BPA. It was the third season this season, obviously. Last season was tremendously successful. How are you going to beat that in your third year?
I have no idea. No, you know what's, look, you set it, when we started, we set it up because we really love it, doing shows. We like promoting shows. We like to be mixed with bodybuilders. Sorry, Harry and Steve, we're too old to compete ourselves. So this way of staying involved. And we've done promotion for such a long time, but we wanted to do it bigger and better. The feedback from the athletes is really what it's all about, and it's all been really, really positive on the whole. Or get that positive feedback. All I can hope for is that we get more, so that there's more people on stage. Each category, and a word back from two more promoters, shows as well. It'll feed into the Britain. And there's obviously other things going on in the background that I can't talk about that I'm looking for opportunities for athletes. And hopefully the AGM, people will turn up to it and give us some comments, critique. We don't just want positives. We want to know what the athletes want, whether they want to travel, whether they want to have a pro card. Because if we don't get that feedback, we can only offer what we think people want. So the AGM's a perfect opportunity for members, and to be honest with you, if they're not members and belong and give their opinion, we're happy with that as well. So that will happen in March, I believe it. We've got it in Birmingham area, so it's more accessible to everybody to come as well.
Yeah. So you've got, how many extra shows have you got on the calendar already?
Well, already I've got Caine Superhuman
Show. You've got Superhuman Show. Is there any more possible?
Yes.
In addition?
We're looking at one in July, and we've got somebody else looking for one in August. It's Lisa Cox. Wanted to do one last year, but because of timing and her work, it didn't happen.
Okay.
So Cox is looking at August, and we've got the Impact, who we did last year in July, and we're hoping to do again in July, but he's busy with his shows. He's got gyms in India, or he's running a show in March in India, so he's full on with that. Keep saying to him, you've got to give me a date. So if we can have more qualifiers, it makes it bigger and better.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to do it at the Athena, which is not a cheap view. We think we should be showcasing the best of the British bodybuilders in the best theatre that we can. So we're happy to put the money in to make it a special day for everybody.
So there's essentially 30 extra shows on the calendar from last season. And are you still have you still got the affiliation with the IFBB Pro, or is that
really have
renegotiated.
negotiation. What we did was we did a deal with them with the massive amount of prize money we had to be on the show. Obviously, it was the biggest show they had in their calendar, so they weren't going to. So that's an ongoing conversation. But the other thing I wanted the affiliation with them for was because they had the Arnold Europe, and everybody that I've spoken to thinks that that's like a nice show to go to, and it was. Sound like they've got that anymore. So there's no one like Arnold in Europe or South Africa. I haven't seen anything, so it's taken the edge off a bit, unless they just have it, which again is not great, is it?
Yeah.
People to do internationally, and it's not being you don't know the date. So there's those sort of negatives within trying to organisation.
So does that mean there isn't going to be?
It doesn't mean there's not going to be one, but it's going to have to be talked out properly and not like last time.
Right. Okay.
Well, learning curves, don't we, Gary?
Sorry?
We all have learning curves.
Yes, there's definitely learning curve for all of us somewhere along the journey.
Yes. Oh, to be right on the app. I don't know what you're giggling for there. Next question. At least you haven't said yes. That would have been bold.
It's I think this year sets itself up for being extreme, really interesting from a BPA show point of view. I think there's the strong foundations been set for the last 2 years. I mean, Gary and I are both competitors. You know, we've both competed on those stages. The reason I threw my hat in the ring to want to put the show on was because of the experience we had as athletes, you know, and from what we've seen being involved in this world for such a long period of time, it really resonated with our core values, and it's something we wanted to be able to take to more people. So I really do believe there's a real good, like I say, it's a strong foundation, continue to build on, continue to grow that athlete pool. Every athlete, every federation says they put the athlete first, right? Let's just look, they all do. Whether or not they do or not, I'm slightly on the fence with, right? But from a personal experience, I will say that...
Are you on the fence? Is that like a no comment?
Just not incriminating myself. So comment. I just saying that from personal experience and from what I've seen and the athletes we've brought to shows and got people involved, the people we've got involved with, the BPA experience, bodybuilding experience, all of it's been positive. Every single one. They've all come away saying, even when people haven't felt like they've got the results, no, we all want to win, don't we, right? Let's be honest, right? We don't quite get the results we want. They've all come away going, do you know what? I've had a great time. Had a really great day. You know, we talk about the Super Show, which had its problems, didn't it? You know, it was, the lighting was a nightmare, but everybody came away going, brilliant day. Maybe not so much, Gary.
Yeah.
Thank you for that bit.
There is a further backstory to that I'll let Gary elaborate on if he wants to. It all got resolved, but yeah, he got stuck in a car for a lot of hours and wasn't very happy when he got there. Anyway, moving on. That's the edited version.
That's a side issue that will bore probably the majority of people who watch this. But one thing I wanted to ask, and this, Helen, this may be your chance to say no comment. You did mention that you have been speaking to Tim Rosiek of NABA. One thing that interests me this last couple of weeks was their announcement that they were going to start offering pro cards to every area show. Not so much that bit, but the fact that in 2026, they have visions of running a NABA Pro League with pro show at every area show. Now, what did you think of that announcement? And, you know, that to me, if they get it right, shake up bodybuilding in that be the only UK federation that is offering pro shows at every area show.
It's so difficult with the pro side. Obviously, the first year with BPA, we gave cards with the thought of, in the future, trying to not necessarily amalgamate all the pros, but to have a pro-am that would allow any pro that was, say, in the UK to come and compete in that show. But then when you think about that, you think, well, then you're going to have judging panels from each of the organizations. How much hassle is that going to be? Do people have the same criteria as yourself? So I think it's very admirable that they're looking at if they put finances in it works. Because for me, as I said to Phil, you cannot say this is our athlete and you can't compete there. This is our athlete. You can't. Every athlete should be allowed to go wherever they wish. Put the money in, they put the work in, wherever they wish. And if that's what they want to achieve, fantastic. Won't know at each area show whether the quality would be good enough for a pro card. But if you're giving pro cards away, so you've got as many as you can have a pro, that's another.
I think that's what they were aiming for, to build a league of enough pros to have in order to have a league.
Yeah, and that's what would have to happen. So if you've got enough qualifiers and you can give enough good quality pro cards out and then have your pro show, think good luck to them, because they'll have to work to do that. But
yeah, so, sorry to cut across, but you know how difficult it is to get funding and sponsorship.
I was very, very lucky to get what I got with the guy that money over. I mean, he was a dream sort of backer because so involved in bodybuilding themselves. And so annoyed with where he had put his money previously. You notice not to mention those people's names. Where he put the money previously in the organisation I was at, and it wasn't spent on the athlete. And in his eyes, it was spent on officials going overseas and what have you. So when you give BPA money, you see exactly where it goes. And there wasn't a single person could say, I didn't get my prize money, because I made absolutely sure every person got their prize money. And it was another money. I mean, Demi could have won another 6K, but he wanted to go and do the NABA unit. So, I went to the table and I said, look, you're welcome to come in to do the pro show, because obviously you've won the overall. And he went, no, I've got me on the universe. And I said, oh, that's fine. And I walked away and I thought, my gosh, this lad's got such a phenomenal physique. But he had his mindset, and that was his, and that's absolutely fine, isn't it? So
he knows where he wants to go.
So we've had it was got some great videos from last year, which we've just put montage together. Adam was very specific about what his objectives were. Right, it was like, I'm going to do this, then this, and then this. You know, and there was a few other shows that sort of filtered in there, and the Super Show was one I threw at him, and I was like, "Come on, mate, you got to come and do this." And he was obviously, that was a tough lineup that he was in, but he was always, even though he'd won that, it was always, I want to go win the universe, which inevitably he went and won the universe, and then won the NABA Pro Show as well on the same day. Literally completed bodybuilding in one full season. It was amazing. And there's somebody that got to know him over the course of last season, become really good friends with him and his brother Tony, who's a really good mate of mine. We trained together and all sorts. They're super guys. He's a real proper champion for me, a real advocate for bodybuilding. And I'm looking forward to see what he does this year and being a part of it. But it was again, to see him go, he wasn't chasing the paycheck. He was just appreciative of winning some cash on the day. He was like, brilliant, I won the trophy.
Yeah, and as you say, he won $3,000 in the Super Show, could have won $6,000 or more in the pro. He had his mindset on something. I think that's fantastic, personally. And Alan Parsons, he actually only entered the Super Show on the Thursday. I sort of slid into his DMs and said, "Oh, I've just seen it here. If you haven't blown it, why you not about this?" And he said, "Oh, I might give it a go." He entered And he was standing with his check of £2,500, $2,500, I think he won in pro. And he said, "Well, not even got the money." And he says, "I just want to compete," and the money was just a bonus. So, as I said, he does things for different reasons, and I think you've got to be so dedicated if you're a bodybuilder that you can't worry about the money because you're spending so much anyway to get prepped, don't you? You've just got to do it because it's a burning inside of you, and you find ways to manage somehow without having to pay extra or you get on stage.
It's a very expensive hobby. So that's just funny that way, is it not?
We say £50 to enter your first place trophy, more expensive than that. And we give t-shirts, we give champions jackets, we have tiaras, flowers, the whole shebang. Well, let's go one look.
This one. Here's one I made earlier.
There you go. One of the best in the business, I think, then.
We give value for money. And I was last year questioning, are we spending too much? And people say, no, it'll be, yeah. People just think, oh, it's another bodybuilding organization. This and go to ones that have tried. And to be honest with you, the first year and even the second year, we haven't had lots of competitors. But what we've had is absolute quality. And I remember that the first Masters All Stars, and there was only about 36 competitors throughout the entire show, Rising Stars and Masters All Stars. And people were coming out, and I was looking at Harry like, wow. Quality was just big. And you can see from our posters, because we used the winner. You look at the posters and you think, wow, yeah, like, bro, I think you're on two of our posters.
I know. Gary, didn't you do that All-Star show, Gary?
I did the Masters one that we're 2025 now, aren't we? Yeah, in May.
There was, I think the previous year was you, Steve Johnson, who else was in there? The list, Dan Smith Jr. has been on there, hasn't he? Represented. So, I mean, the list of top quality athletes that have stood on that stage already is pretty immense.
Yeah. We had Don Valley, we had Barry, all them, what's his second name, Barry? Anyway, he looked tremendous. Young Nada, he's over 40.
Yeah.
We've just got so many. We haven't had many females, so we're hoping to pick that up this year, so we'll get more bikini girls, wellness girls, and what have you. But again, the ones that we have had have been absolute quality, so can't complain. You sit there on the judging panel, you look at these physiques, you can only just admit what it's all about.
This is it, isn't it? It's bodybuilding. Like I say, I think these are the best trophies in bodybuilding right now. But as the second place ones, there we go. Look at that. Oh, who doesn't want them sat on the mantelpiece?
And that's when I've seen different trophies, I've been lucky to have lots of cups throughout the years. And when you get a statue like that, it is like an ornament, so you can put it out and be happy. You don't really want the name of the organization. We've got it there, but it's quite subtle. So we did give it a lot of thought when we wanted people to have something that they were quite play. Yeah.
How many have you got now, Gary?
I don't know, but I think it's interesting to say you get an ornament, you can put them out. Each one has its own story as well. Each prep will be different for you. So each one has got its own individual story that you can recount to anyone who say, well, how did you win this one? And what about this one? You probably got 5, 6, 7, 8 different stories that are completely different from one another. So I think that's quite nice as well.
Which one's got the most meaning for you then, mate? So you've won a fair few things.
Which one has the most meaning?
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that, actually. I'm not quite sure. They all have their own special meaning. I mean, the Masters All Stars was the first overall I won, so that was quite nice. So it had my heart set on a sword for some mad reason. Maybe I wanted to run up and down the high street, wielding it above my head or something. Some part of my midlife crisis. But that was quite nice because I was going to just do the Nab of Britain, and then I saw this, Masters All Stars. It was 5 weeks before. I thought, well, I'm pretty much in shape. Let's, do it. And yeah, it was great. It was a great experience, and came in nice and big and full, and came home and ran up and down the high street with wielding my sword above my head.
That was
Sorry?
I was saying that was last season. We saw you
May.
coming at the heaviest you'd ever been last year, weren't you? The biggest you'd been. You'd gone through quite an off season.
Yeah, I went from I won the NABA UK in November 2023, and I think I put on probably maybe 10 pounds of stage weight, and then by the May I was almost 50 stage weight heavier still. So in that short time from 2023, November 2023 to now, to the last time I competed, I'd probably put on 25 pounds of stage weight, which is enormous really for that short time, and people would be lucky to put 12 months a year. So I was doing something right first time in my life.
Definitely. Mate, there was some. I mean, we talk about improvements. Sorry, Helen.
No, you carry on. I spoke too much anyway.
I was just saying, we talk about. No, when we see improvements in athletes, when we see people all the time, like, I know what you'd set those objectives out to go down that route and come in heavier and bigger, maintain the balance and symmetry that you've always had. It was just, I was genuinely surprised just how much you'd managed to put on and stand on stage at like 12, 14, 15 pounds heavier. It was impressive, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I've always been lucky with shape and aesthetics. That's not something you can train to gain. You've either got that genetically, haven't. What I didn't have was size. It was a lot of uncomfortable eating of food that packed that on.
Is there any plans this year, or what are you thinking?
Me, I had two minds at the moment. I'm not quite sure what to do. Obviously I gained that status with the IFB Pro Federation. It'd be nice to do something with that. I see a lot of people that win that card, and no one really do anything with it. I've not seen anyone from England really go and take it and compete and do anything with it. So I'm considering that at the moment, but I'm still kind of in that building phase. So there's still plenty of time to think about what to do. A lot of those shows, I think, are later on in the year anyway, if I'm not mistaken. So there's still a lot of decisions to reach on that score for me.
What about you, Helen? We've obviously this is a big year for the BPA. Now we've obviously the transition into ultra effects from Panther to the gym. You've been able to take a bit more time for yourself. What is it you're looking forward to the most?
I've had a bad start to the year, believe it or not, although I've had some very major positives, obviously. I was really ill for quite a while. I wasn't able to get out of bed for I've just got back into the gym to work, and now I'm going to start getting onto the BPA stuff. Although I've done a little bit, it's not the way I would normally do it. I'm on top of emails and whatever. So I can, from today, get back onto the BPA stuff. We've organised the AGM, another couple of shows, as I say, to just finalise. I want to get some more sponsorship in, because obviously the good thing that happened this year is Suki and He's Beyond the Stage did a vote, and BPA came out third best organisation in the UK. And considering we're only in our second season, it's massive. So we want to, as I said, take on advice. We're looking to do guest stars at the shows. We're looking to do photo shoots at the shows and just enhance the experience that we've already had. We're making the stage better. We're making some changes to the stage, which Harry's getting involved with. And we're looking forward to getting more officials and judges in, because as we get busier, it's better to have more hands on deck. Faye Ellis did the Super that she would like to be on board. We've got Darren and Rachel Stock coming on board. And your friend Lee Archer's messaged he wants to come meeting. And a few others, Simon Chandler. There's a few interested in coming on board. So the more we have on board, the more contact we make with other people. The more people you know, the more contacts you can make. So the plan for this year that I can maybe get out more, even with you stuff, and chat to gym owners and do more of this stuff.
So we're doing this every week, so you're more than welcome to join us whenever you feel. That's eventually get slicker, I would hope, compared to presented. There's always certain bugs to iron out as we find our feet with things, but it's a topical conversation.
And then you go off east, so to speak. That's nice as well, because you just never know where it's going to take you, do you?
Yeah. I'm trying to try and channel my inner Joe Rogan. I've just thought that ever.
Oh, well. It's nice to be ambitious. He was standing behind the ambition for next time, is it?
That's exactly that.
At the operation. Yeah, but, we're good at chatting, aren't you? So why not?
I talk a lot, yeah, it's been said, yeah.
So, in the best place for a dick talk. Right. No comment?
No comment. I think today was just really trying to get on with a few bits. I say things really to take on is the AGM, which was March the 9th.
9th, yeah.
Is it March the 9th? March the 9th in Birmingham. If I've got this right, it's the Village Hotel.
Yes, that's correct. In Hull. And I've put it there. It's the middle of the country, plus Harry and Steve fly in, one from Scotland, one from Belfast, and that's quite handy for them. And it's easy to drive to from most places. And as I said, just send us a message if you're interested, because you never know. If you listen to everybody, something's going to come out of it. It might be somebody that you would never realize would come up with a good suggestion, and it just suddenly comes out. I'm talking, isn't it?
Have we got limited capacity in that venue, or are we just rock up?
I think I can have up to 40. So with the team we already have, that's why I'm asking for people to just tell us if they want to come along to it, because we're doing a judges seminar as well. So that will give certificates out that you've attended the judges seminar, and again, ask questions, learn about how we judge and why we judge a certain way and criteria. It should be good for everybody that's interested and if they're available to come that day. And we've done it before the first show, so we might be able to implement anything that comes up into the first show.
And obviously, if you can't get there,
right? Yeah. Sorry,
I was just going to say, obviously, if you can't get there, you'll be able to read about it on frontdouble.com.
There you go.
There we go. I was going to say we should have led with that, Gary, being the editor-in-chief at the online bodybuilding magazine that is Front Double.
Yeah, it's a new startup. What it is, I realised that there was a gap in the market in terms of bodybuilding magazine. UK Beef is still around, but that's in its former glory in terms of an actual magazine that you can thumb your way through. This is a digital magazine that can update, the switch. So that's what it aims to be: interviews and results and things like that. So anything that, if you can't get to the AGM, then you'll obviously be able to see it on frontdouble.com.
And I send Gary results immediately the show's finished. We have it all computerized and we send them straight to Gary.
Yeah.
And then 2 to 3 days he has the photographs as well, as soon as we get them through.
Yeah, there's photographs from the show, there's results from the show, and obviously John Plummer does a good report of the show as well. So I think there's lots there that other federations could definitely learn from.
I think it's worth saying at that point, Gary, is that you haven't limited that. Sorry, I've jumped in again.
No. And he's not going to name them. You wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not going to name them.
There's you put this out to other federations to use the same stuff, Gary. So this isn't just limited to the BPA. If other guys are out there listening and they want that then
Yeah, if you want my exposure.
if they want to be.
UK bodybuilding, if people like to see, I think people like to see their name in lights, so to speak. They want to, who finished first at that show? Or how did such and such get on at that show? Not everybody's on social media as big as it is, but, I'm there to carry results from as many shows as well, for every show that there is in UK bodybuilding. But, the best win in the world, I can't get to every show because there's multiple shows and weekends. But, you email me or send me the full show results. Someone's going to have a record of them because they'll when they announce them.
You can't you? You can only publish what's sent to you.
That's right. Yeah, the ones that are sent to me. So carry the show reports, the pictures, the results, and everything else. You've got to meet me halfway.
So, there is another story in that. Well, I was the amount of results you rang. Have you got? Do you know who was in that show? Can you send me any details of who placed where? Because nobody wants to tell me. And I was like, I'll get it for you. We did a lot of that last year, guys. Did we not? Yeah. So you shouldn't need to be like that. As you were saying, if you've I think as an athlete, if you've competed and been stood on that stage and done the work it takes to get there, it's nice to be recognised as that. It's nice to see it go out into the public domain, right? And people, because we read it. I mean, I'm severely dyslexic with severe ADHD, as most people know, right? But so if reading an article can be challenging, right? I read pretty much everything you write because it's well written. It's got great information in there. It's pragmatic. He said again, it's just worth a read. So there's who doesn't want to be in those things? Not everybody can be the poster, Gary.
Well, exactly. I mean, I work for the national newspapers.
Helen? Look, nobody else is going to do it, will they? If you can't put yourself on a poster, why not, eh?
Are you sure you weren't in line to be on the Naval?
Definitely not now, guys. So not happening. I think after the last show, I know exactly that they don't really want me to compete with them ever again. Anyway, we shall move on from that.
No, I'm sure they'd be very welcoming. Honestly, I do think everybody should be welcoming any from wherever, and it's friendly. Be such a small community. Seems to know what everybody else is doing, and I think it's about time that people just, acknowledge that anybody can do anything, anywhere, and you're happy about it.
Yeah. So the options have grown over the years, right? The athlete pool really hasn't grown that substantially. So, of course, if we're at multiple shows across multiple federations, as we do, you see the same guys. So the only reason, like me and you were mates, guys, is because we met at a show, right? And a few years ago, we've got to know each other over that period. We've helped each other out with bits and pieces here and that. But that's what's so unique, I think, about this particular sport we're all involved in. Say with Helen, again, if it wasn't for this sport that we do, none of us would be sat here having this conversation. Yeah, and it needs to be inclusive. It needs to be supportive. It's hard work. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into this, and it needs to be, for me as a promoter and for somebody that's involved in bodybuilding, the transparency for being able to stand on that stage, to have something that's worthwhile doing, knowing that you're going to be fairly judged, fairly represented, and give yourself an opportunity to go on and do other things within bodybuilding has always been of the utmost importance to me, which is, again, why I threw me out into the ring and to be part of the BPA and do the Northwest.
I think that's the secret. When somebody is in such good shape, not only are they admired by their peers, they're admired by celebrities and everybody because they know how difficult it is to get in that shape. And when you get an opportunity, I get asked all the time from this morning, or do you know this person? Do you know this? Always say to the person, just say yes. Don't be shy about it. Say yes, get on there, and you don't know what's going to come afterwards. Because I got such fantastic opportunity from starting my bodybuilding that, I just said yes to things and it snowballed. So, yeah. Just yes.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
Just in complete opposite to Grey and Shelley in the 80s. Just say yes.
Yeah. I didn't do me any harm.
Clearly not. Who's celebrity you? Household name.
It's Geordie from a coal mining background. Say yes. But honestly, you did.
Right.
You never know it.
Well, that's the genius of it, isn't it? I always remember we were sat, I was in a hotel, it was terrible as well. It was near the Cadbury's place in Birmingham. We've been doing the nights Helen before the Midland show or the England, I can't remember which part it was. And Sarah and I were sat in this little room watching terrestrial TV. And Steph Noble's on TV, right? It was not Autocar. It was Auto Traders, right? I rang her. I went, Steph, have you done an Auto Trader advert? She went, oh my God, I can't believe you see that. I went, everyone's seen it, but again, the opportunity, saying yes to stuff, getting stuff done, and it's immortalised, isn't it? And
you see, I met her. She came and guest judged for Scotland. Did a fantastic job, great judge. And then about 3 weeks ago, I think that was the first season, about 3 or 4, maybe a bit longer now. Before Christmas, I got tagged in Steph Noble at Panther's gym. And I messaged and I said, oh, it's Helen, it's my gym. If you just messaged me, I would have made sure you got free entries. I'd only met her at the show, but it's so small, the world, you know. So
says,
nice to be nice, isn't it? Nice to be nice.
of course. I'm looking at the clock there. We've done about an hour, right? So if anybody's still sat here watching us three,
Switched off.
whittle on. Well done. Thanks for sticking it through to the end. That's an hour of your life you're not getting back. But anyway, we've had a good catch up. We intend
into you, Phil. Can people send
what?
questions in, or do you choose?
You can send me as many questions as you like, or Gary. Gary's the professional journalist. I can barely read. All right, so you might be better sending it to him. But if you send them in, we'll address anything. If you fancy being on, you know, if there's something you want to talk about, again, bring it up. There is no set format. We're going to try and evolve it the best we can. Get interesting people like this. There's interesting people like you, Helen, that give us a bit of credibility to come on and give some comment. And we're just going to, again, have some fun with it, right? That's all it's about, right? This is an hour of our time. It's still been a bit of fun. We've talked, obviously, about things that have been going on in the world of bodybuilding that we're all doing within the BPA. And we're going to go from there and see what happens. Like you say, you've got to take the opportunities, do something. If you never do it, you'll never know. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to wrap it up.
Watch out.
Yes, I'm going to wrap it up at that. So, Helen, thank you ever so much for giving up your time, as always.
Pleasure.
Gary, thanks for being the professional in the group.
Well, it was all the first second.
And that's it for us. We'll see you next week for something possibly better, might be worse. Who knows? We're going to see you then.
Good night.